After the Israelites had conquered Jericho, they decided to go and conquer the city of, or the people of Ai. God had commanded them to not take anything from the city of Jericho, but yet one of them did. They decided to go and conquer the people of Ai. And then Joshua fell to his knees and tore his clothes. He was so frustrated that they had lost. And he cried out to God and said, "Lord, you brought us this far. Why are you going to let us fall into the hands of these rebels?" And the Lord said to him, "Someone has taken something from the city of Jericho." And so he searched the camp, and he could not find it anywhere. Then he found Achan had taken some gold and silver and hidden it under his tent. So they took him and his family. They picked up stones.
Why, Father, why?
And they stoned the whole family.
How could you?
And then, to cleanse the camp for good, they burned them. Then they went to go and conquer the people of Ai again, but they had a plan this time. They were going to ambush the people of Ai. So they waited and sent their people to the city. And then once they came out, they ambushed them. And they won the battle.
Right down.
Sent out of Shittim, 2 men to spy, secretly saying,
Go and search all of the land, especially Jericho.
"Wow." Then they went and came into an harlot's house named Rahab and lodged there. And the king of Jericho sent unto Rahab. And the king of Jericho sent unto Rahab, saying, "There were spies that came to my house, but I didn't know them, so they left the gates." But she had brought them up to the roof of the house and hid them with stones and flax which she had laid upon them. And she said unto the men,
they came to the other side of the sea, to the country of the Gadarenes. And when Jesus stepped out of the boat, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit. He lived among the tombs, and no one could bind him anymore, not even with a chain. For he had often been bound with shackles and chains, but he wrenched the chains apart and broke the shackles to pieces. No one had the strength to subdue him. Night and day among the tombs and on the mountains, he was always crying out and cutting himself with stones. And when he saw Jesus from afar, he ran and fell down before him, crying out with a loud voice, "What do you want from us, Son of the Most High God? Promise to God that you won't hurt us." Legion.
What is your name?
Legion. For we are many. Send us among the sheep. Let's go. Let's go into them.
Go.
So basically, there's this guy named Jonah, or girl, or whatever. So she was, well, God told her she needs to go over to talk to the blue team about Jesus and share the gospel with them. But, well, the blue team's they're kind of, well, punks. And so, basically, they just win all the time and think they're better than everybody else. And so, well, Jonah didn't want to go there, so she went over to the ship in the opposite direction of the blue team. And gets on a ship, the captain, pays for it, then goes down the bottom and falls asleep, running away from God. And so, but then God comes out and makes this storm brew up. Thanks, God. So the sailors are kind of freaking out. They're like, "Oh no, call upon your gods. What's going on? Help us out, please." And so then the captain's like, goes down, and like, "Whoa, where's that Jonah fella? He's freaking out, so we better go wake him up. Tell him he's gonna die." So the captain goes down and says, "Hey Jonah, you're gonna die. We're all gonna die. Why don't you pray to your God? Maybe he'll save us." So then they did something that's a really bad thing to do and gamble. And, they gambled and Jonah lost. And so then they realized it was like, wow, Jonah must be the one that this whole storm is for. And so Jonah's like, "So wait, Jonah, what are you doing? What the heck, man? Seriously, what?" And Jonah's like, "Well, I am kind of running away from the Most High God who created the earth and the sea and everything." And so they're like, "Oh, come on, not that God." And so then they're like, "What do we do with you?" And Jonah's like, "Well, if you throw me into the raging waters, then the Lord will probably protect your ship. So why don't you do that?" And so they did. And Jonah jumps into the water, and then is suddenly swallowed by a great fish. We're not really sure. It could be a whale. It could be a lot of things. But anyway, Jonah's in the belly of the whale, and long story short, Jonah's like, "Hey, after 3 days, kind of gets sick of, it's kind of gross. Fish are kind of gross." And so it's like, "Hey, God, why don't you save me?" And God's like, "Okay." So then the whale spits Jonah out, and then there's a camel, which really isn't in the story, but, well, this is the Eric revised version, approximately inspired. So we go over here and goes over to the blue team, finally Jonah learns the lesson, and it's like, "Hey, blue team, why don't you guys stand up for us? They need to see you."
Hey, 40 days and you guys are gonna get owned. Like seriously owned. Like fire's gonna come down in heaven, it's gonna be destroyed, and just everything bad's gonna happen to you. So then the blue team's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll repent. I'll repent. All right. And so they repent. Jordan goes off to some hill or something. I don't know. We don't really have hills in Kansas, so you know that's just a part we leave out of the story. Off on the camel, sits down, and then sits down and waits for the blue team to be destroyed because she's so sure that they're gonna die. And so then she goes, and then the little umbrella comes up to the plant, and the next day it withers. And Jordan thinks about that because he wanted to say it withers. And so Jordan kind of takes and is like, okay, well God, what are you doing? And God's like, well, you care about a plant, I care about the blue team. So give it up for the blue team. Yeah!
Then they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to go around the land of Edom. And the soul of the people became very discouraged on the way. And the people spoke against God and against Moses.
Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no food and water. And I hate this awful manna stuff.
I'm so hungry. Why are we there? I don't like this very much. It's so hot. Why?
Therefore the people came to Moses and said, Oh, so the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and many of the people of Israel.
He just got bit by a fire serpent.
Therefore the people came to Moses and said,
We have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against you. Pray to the Lord that he might take away the fiery serpents.
So Moses prayed for the people. Then the Lord said to Moses,
Make a fiery serpent and set it on a pole, and it shall be that everyone who is bitten, when they look at it, shall live.
So Moses made a bronze serpent and put it on a pole, and so it was if a serpent had bitten anyone, when he looked at it, the bronze serpent, he lived.
Look at that miserable piece of art. Ah! Look at the snake! Look at the snake! Look at that art!
He's dead.
I'm gonna go find a doctor! Snake! Look at the snake! Look at the snake! Look at the snake! Look at the snake!
No! No! Look at the snake! No! I will save you! No! No! Look!
He's